new couch is very uncomfortable.
Then you should get a new couch.
Yeah.
More comfy couch. A big comfy couch. Remember that show? I barely remember that show.
I don't even know what it is.
It was some crazy, creepy clown lady with her talking doll.
That sounds fun.
It's called The Big Comfy Couch. My sister used to watch it when she was little. So yeah, I'm recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
have no clue how this is gonna go, or how we should go about doing this, but
yeah, I don't know how to start really. How about we just go with I don't know.
I guess there's some pressure on me because I've done 50 some episodes of a podcast.
So now
welcome to the Nintendo journey. No. Welcome to Wheels and Friends.
to the spoken word journey that is tentatively related to both journeys.
It would really help if we had an established name for whatever this is, but it's a podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. This is not a gameplay video, as you might have noticed.
But it is Nintendo related.
It is very Nintendo related. And so I was talking with Panda one day, as we tend to do, and he said, hey, why don't we start talking about media that's related to the games that we're playing? And I'm like, you know what? That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And
it was just an excuse for me to talk about Sonic Underground, which I did. Then 2019 turned out to be a blessed year because there's not only a Pikachu movie coming out this year, there's a Sonic movie coming out this year.
And then, of course, the crossover Pikachu Sonic movie.
Oh, no. Sonichu.
Which, oh no. Oh, my God.
You know, I literally just now realized that this is the year of Sonichu. I wonder what Chris Chan has to say about all this.
I'll send in detectives, I'll send in police, I'll send in everything in my power!
I wonder if he's insulted that nobody's consulted him.
Yeah, probably. Is that the first Chris Chan mention on this channel?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Nice. Breaking new ground.
You should do a breakdown of all of the Sonichu comics.
I don't... Okay, so they live in a town called Quickville, which is CWCville, and it stands for Christian Weston Chandler, who's the author. And eventually they torture and kill people.
The end.
Yeah. That's
And that was Down the Rabbit Hole. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. He's still doing those comics, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
You know, it is Nintendo related. So...
She? What gender is Chris right now?
She is a
that sounds
transgender.
Insulting, but Chris legitimately keeps changing their gender.
She is a gay identified transgender woman, I think.
Huh.
And still hates gay people, but he is
gay himself.
Yeah, but he's gay. He likes women, so he's not gay, but he's transgender, so he is. I don't know how it works.
Anyway.
No, you're gonna have to do a genuine deep dive on the Sonichu series because it is Nintendo related media.
I mean, it's also Sega related media, so
yeah,
we could do a cool
true.
crossover breakdown series.
That would be wonderful. I would like that.
So anyway,
Detective Pikachu came out.
Yeah, we both saw Detective Pikachu. I got to go to the drive-in for the first time since I was 13 to see it.
Oh, that's right. You saw it in the drive-in. I just saw it in my normal theater.
And you're boring.
Yeah. I have a story about this. I was just about one of the only like non-children people seeing it. And it was really packed, and it was a bunch of kids in the theater. And as I was walking in, my favorite bar has my favorite movie theater has a bar inside of it called MacGuffin's.
Okay.
And I considered getting a cocktail or something, but then I realized, like, just an adult man at a Pikachu movie just sitting alone drinking. Like, I didn't want that. I felt pathetic enough as it is going alone to a Pikachu movie, but I was like, oh man. So
I was at the drive-in, right? And there's a playground by the screen to keep the kids occupied until the movie. Because, it existed before smartphones. That is the new way of keeping them occupied. And so,
do kids know what playgrounds are these days?
They knew what a slide was.
Yeah, that's good. That's because you slide right on Tinder.
Damn, dude. I don't want any 9-year-olds on Tinder.
Yeah, that wouldn't be great.
So I was watching the playground in a non-creepy manner, and there was I counted no less than 5 Pikachus going down that slide at any given time. Like,
oh yeah, there was a bunch of kids dressed as Pikachu at my showing too.
And I also went to the concession stand, and it said they had fraps, so I got a mocha frap because why not? Frap in a movie.
Yeah.
And it was legitimately just a Frosty. Like, there.
Well, that's essentially what fraps are. I mean, it's less a coffee.
You don't understand. Like, there is a Wendy's not 5 minutes away from the theater. And so I think they just went to Wendy's, got a bunch of Frosties, and put them in new cups.
Oh yeah, no, that's completely believable. Maybe they put some coffee flavoring in them.
No, there was no coffee flavoring. It was a chocolate Frosty.
Yeah, that sounds great. No, frappes are basically already just milkshakes. Like I the first time I had one at a Starbucks, it's like, I can't believe this is considered coffee. It's just a milkshake.
Well, up in New Hampshire where I am, anything milkshake is just a frap.
Oh.
So people around here like we've had people legitimately get confused by frappuccinos.
Right.
Because it's got the word frap in it, but it's barely frap related. So
oh, so I was thinking of a totally different thing, probably.
Yeah,
I was probably thinking of a frappuccino. It's a cultural difference. Yeah. I've never heard the term frap used outside of frappuccino.
Yeah, a frap is just a thicker milkshake.
Nice.
Yeah. But the frap I got was just a Frosty.
Huh. Okay. Well, that makes a little more sense, because I assumed you ordered a coffee and you got a Frosty instead. Nope. Okay, that makes a little more. It should be stated, I live in Minnesota. I'm across the country, so there's going to be cultural differences. I've never had clam chowder in my life.
And I've never talked to another human person.
Yeah. So there's that. Have you ever had tater tot hot dish?
I have not.
That's the Minnesota dish.
Huh.
Anyway, Detective Pikachu came out.
Pikachu, right.
Yeah.
You know what does have coffee? Detective Pikachu.
It does.
Yes.
Pikachu has a caffeine addiction. That is canon.
Legitimate caffeine addiction. Like, he cannot live without his coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick question. Do you think we should go spoilers in discussing this movie, or do you think we should avoid it?
I was just about to ask you the same thing.
I think by the time this gets up, like, spoilers are going to be less relevant, so...
I was going to say that I think what we should do is do a quick, like... Let's just get our feelings out there really quickly. Do we think people would enjoy it or not? And then we'll get into spoilers.
Sure, sounds good. I guess I'll start.
Okay.
I heard a lot of people say it was, like, really dumb but fun, and I'm actually kind of the dissenting opinion. I think it was really, really good. There's a lot of bad things about it.
Mm-hmm.
The acting, particularly from the main, and anybody who isn't Ryan Reynolds was pretty... Anybody who isn't Ryan Reynolds and Ken Watanabe was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
The writing's pretty bad. The editing's pretty bad. But I can kind of forgive all of this because it's aimed at kids.
Mm-hmm.
For what matters, what they were trying to do is make a really fun Pokemon movie, and they absolutely succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved this movie as a child. I would have insisted my parents buy it on DVD, and I would watch it every day, probably.
I think the best praise I can give this movie is that it is legitimately a Pokemon movie. It is not an Americanized version of Pokemon. It is not, like dumbed down, even though Pokemon was, already dumbed down, but it's not dumbed down anymore for kids. It feels like Pokemon, and the world feels lived in, and the movie itself, like Panda said, the acting's pretty bad most of the time, passable at best, except for Ryan Reynolds, who's incredible. There's a couple of characters that are like kind of wasted because they're not given anything to do. They're just there to literally show up once for a plot point and then leave.
Yeah.
But other than that, you'll from an adult standpoint, you'll probably see all of the big twists coming from a mile away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are multiple twists in the last 30 minutes of this movie, and I predicted all of them like 1/3 of the way into the movie. But that's fine. It's a kids movie. It's not like trying to be a Hitchcockian masterpiece or anything.
This is, like Panda has said a couple of times, this is definitely a kids movie. You can definitely tell this is a kids movie. But that's not to say that it's a bad movie. This is, if you don't like Pokemon, this movie is perfectly serviceable. You will not have a bad time. If you do like Pokemon, you'll probably love the world and everything about it. And apart from a couple of weird design choices on some of the Pokemon, you'll probably love seeing all of them in CG on the big screen. And I thought it was pretty dang great.
Yeah. I mean, the acting is the big thing that almost made me have a bad time. The first scene is the main character and his friend trying to catch a Cubone in a field.
Mm-hmm.
And the second they started talking, I had that oh no moment. Yeah. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be one of these.
Yeah.
But fortunately, if like bad performances really take you out of the movie, you don't go long until Ryan Reynolds shows up, and he's totally worth it. I mean, he makes every scene he's in, and he's very, very, very good in the movie. So he's the redeeming grace as far as the acting's concerned. But the main character, not so much.
Yeah.
But I loved. You said the world was well realized. I loved how the Pokemon are integrated into the city. What was the city called again?
Rhyme City, RYME.
Right. There's a scene where a Machoke is holding up traffic and directing traffic around a Snorlax that fell asleep in the middle of the road. And that's just a perfect example of how this movie just like knows how to utilize Pokemon in an interesting and funny way.
I'm gonna throw up a spoiler warning because I want to mention the what's the name? The Loudred for that were with the DJ that were beatboxing, because that was incredible.
Yeah,
that broke me when I saw it.
There's a sequence that, if we do talk spoilers, I'd like to talk about it, involving some Torterra. Is that what their names are?
Yes, the Torterra thing. Cool. I think we're at the point of no return. We can talk about spoilers now.
The Torterra kaiju garden, where the Torterra are the size of mountains, was probably that was one of the coolest parts of the movie.
Yeah, I think that was the moment where I realized that this movie is treating like it's weird that it's weird to think about, but that's the moment I realized that this movie was treating everything with respect, because like that's the kind of wacky stuff that you'd see in the anime or mentioned in one of the games, like Torterras that grow up to the size of full forests.
Yeah. And the preceding scene where it turns into an alien-esque horror movie involving Greninjas was that was really fun too.
He's not lying. That actually happens.
Yeah. There's a shot straight out of Alien where they find some alien goo on the floor, and then Pikachu's standing near it, and then another glob falls on his head, and he looks up to see the Greninja. It was genuinely straight out of one of the Alien films, and I enjoyed it.
To see the female protagonist wrapped up in one of Greninja's tongues, screaming.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was insane.
And it was one of a couple like actually scary moments that I actually appreciated. We'll talk about the Ditto thing later. Or I guess we could talk about it now.
All right. So
when a Ditto in this universe, he can transform into people.
Mm-hmm. He can transform into anything at any time. He can go straight from transformation to transformation. When you're introduced to Ditto, he's in the form of a person. You don't know that he's he's not in the form of a person. But when you're introduced to Ditto, he's him turning into a person.
Yeah,
to push the wheelchair of Bill Nye.
Yeah, Nye. You have to make that distinction. You can't just say Bill Nye.
Bill Nye. Bill Nye, who ends up being the ultimate bad guy, which you can definitely see from a mile away. Which is one of the twists that
when he showed up, I was like, okay, he's the bad guy.
The only thing I couldn't figure out, honestly, was that he kept saying throughout the movie that it's his son who's the bad guy. He's the one doing all of this evil stuff. And you see him doing evil stuff in the shadows. But later, it turns out that was the Ditto the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that really got me. I couldn't figure out how they were going to justify that.
That small detail, the fact that the son was actually the Ditto, that I didn't see coming. And it was actually pretty well done, because he's wearing sunglasses the whole time, covering his eyes.
But
the fact, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
When the Ditto turns into people, he still has the Ditto eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this big reveal when he takes his sunglass on, and he has tiny, beady Ditto eyes. And when this happened, a child in my theater screamed.
I'm sure it's supposed to look like somewhere between goofy and terrifying, but I lean more towards the terrifying aspect.
Yeah, it's probably supposed to look goofy, but it almost has this like uncanny valley quality to it, where it is more scary.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just kind of neat. It didn't elicit any reaction out of me, but he took his he took his sunglasses off, and I just heard from a couple rows ahead of me, "Ah!"
I just went, "Oh no!"
Yeah. That was basically my reaction.
Yeah.
Oh god, I shouldn't have screamed. Now my throat hurts. But anyway, no, I saw Bill Nye. Well, when Bill Nye said it was his son who was the evil one, I saw that as a red herring immediately. Mm-hmm. And that is because they hired Bill Nye, one of the most like well-known like villain actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, to me, it's like, of course he's gonna be the villain. Like, you don't hire Bill Nye. It's like hiring Vincent Price to play like. And I mean, to be fair,
Alan Rickman.
that's not a great example, because Edward Scissorhands. But you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. It's like hiring Christoph Waltz to be a. I don't know.
Just your typical creepy guy. Like,
yeah.
I think the only time I've seen him not play a bad guy was in Love Actually, and like even that's kind of debatable. I don't know.
I mean, he was kind of not a bad guy in Shaun of the Dead, but he was not a likable character. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
I love Shaun of the Dead, but I keep forgetting that was him.
That's the first role I always think of when I think Bill Nighy. No, never mind. It's Slarty Bardfast from the Hitchhiker's Guide remake.
Right.
Because that's the first role I saw him in, and I loved him.
So,
where were we?
Ditto creepy. Even when he's not transformed, it's weird because like he looks like. Have you ever seen those Capri Sun commercials where like the kids turn into piles of goo?
Yeah, I have.
Like, Ditto looks like that. He doesn't have a solid body. He's like semi-translucent. Yeah. And I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. The other Pokemon that bugged me was Gyarados. There was something about its eyes that I didn't like.
I didn't have like a major issue with Gyarados, mostly because I just thought Gyarados's appearance in the ring fight scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like the idea of Pikachu. Awesome. Yeah, the idea of Pikachu strategically using a Magikarp to transform into a Gyarados to make an escape was really cool.
Yeah. I want to mention that if you're going into this movie expecting a bunch of Pokemon battles, you're not going to get that.
No, I don't really think you see, other than the cage fight scene, you don't really see a Pokemon battling another Pokemon in the entirety of the movie, I think.
It's because probably because Rhyme City battling is outlawed.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't think about it in the theater, but I wonder if like PETA has anything to do with that.
Maybe.
Like a kid's movie about animals fighting each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened, so maybe not. I don't know.
I'd hope not, because like Pokemon has, fought against that kind of thing before. Granted, it was in Japan, but who knows?
Well, I mean, PETA will get mad about anything. They got mad about the Tanuki suit in Mario. So, I mean,
PETA's made more than one Pokemon parody game about how evil it is.
Yeah.
They love their parody Flash games. So what else?
Mewtwo Ex Machina, when you don't know how to end a movie, just have Mewtwo say, "I'll fix everything."
Right. The problem was solved in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's just Mewtwo, he just had to go fix it, and that's all the explanation we needed.
Okay, so Bill Nighy has decided that humans' true potential lies in Pokemon, and he means that in the most literal sense possible.
I don't even get what he means by that, because Pokemon can't talk. I don't know.
His plan is to put on a parade to...
Oh, and this plot point was taken right out of the 1989 Batman movie.
Oh my god, it was.
It was lifted directly from... No, his plan is identical to the Joker's plan in the 1989 Batman movie, because he brings these balloons in this parade that will release a gas that will change everybody.
Yeah, so the gas enrages Pokemon, and when a Pokemon is enraged, somebody else's soul can be put into that Pokemon's body. So he's used a neural interface to put his mind into Mewtwo's body, so he can enrage all of the Pokemon and then put all of the humans into the Pokemon's body.
And if this sounds stupid, it's because it really is.
It really is. Like, they don't hide it. They know it's stupid.
Yeah, no, I
have
no problem with it. They're not
trying to get you to take this seriously, which I think definitely adds to why I liked the movie so much.
Yeah, I have zero issues with it being as stupid as it is. I actually kind of appreciated it. I mean, because it's just convoluted and dumb, but that's just how it is. There's no pretension about it. It's just sort of
right.
Well, we need to do something with Mewtwo, so.
And ultimately, like, the plan's... I'm sorry, the bad guy's plan is just stupid. Like,
yeah,
it's not even a well thought through plan. Like, okay, they're in Pokemon. Now what?
Well, he left himself defenseless except for his Ditto bodyguard.
Right, yeah.
With the neural interface on his head,
yeah.
with the kid that's going to want to try to defeat him.
Mm-hmm. He's just slumped over in a chair.
Yeah. I mean, the Ditto's there, but...
Right.
Okay, so there's this scene where the Ditto turns into a Cubone, and the kid is dramatically hanging over the edge, and the Ditto's, like, bashing his fingers with his little bone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not working. And the whole time, the camera is very conspicuously showing that Bill Nighy as Mewtwo sees the kid. He's not preoccupied. He's just watching this happen. And it's like Mewtwo could just kind of, like blast him off the edge.
Right, exactly. He could just, like, shadow ball him into oblivion.
It's like clearly he has no problem with killing this kid. Like, that's what he's trying to do. But, he just watches, lets the Mewtwo just, like, clumsily try to throw him off the edge, or the Cubone.
I bet he was waiting there for everybody to turn into a Pokemon and then start worshiping him for realizing their true potential or something.
Yeah.
Oh, for the record, the bad guy was in a wheelchair because of some accident, and that's why he wanted to have a new body so he wouldn't be in the chair anymore.
Yeah. Which is a plot point. I think I've used it. I think I've seen used in at least 20 movies.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's for kids. I'll let it slide.
He's also got this weird, like, hologram thing.
Oh yeah. The holograms that make no logical sense.
Right, exactly.
Because he said this hologram is constructed from the things that the police recorded. Therefore, we can see things that they couldn't.
That the police did not see. Which
and it's like, what sense does that make?
What does that
even mean? It's literally comprised of the things that the police recorded. I don't know.
In retrospect, that probably means it can show you the things that I was there to witness because I caused the accident in the first place.
Right. Maybe that was a clue.
Maybe, but
the fact that his hologram makes no sense was a clue.
It's a dumb clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Psyduck is another major part of the movie, and I thought Psyduck was pretty funny for the most part.
Yeah, I like Psyduck.
Got kind of, like, overbearing at a couple of points because its whole thing is pamper me so I don't explode. And, like, the joke wore out pretty quickly, but it wasn't that bad, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
It was cute. His interactions with Pikachu were cute.
Yeah. The Ditto fight that Panda was talking about, I thought was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. I've got a thing for shape-shifting enemies.
Mm-hmm.
That's always neat.
It keeps going from person to Pokemon, and it's not just like, Gen 1. You've got like a Bouffalant in there, and...
Yeah, I was going to say, there were a few Pokemon. Okay, my thing with Pokemon is I stopped playing at Pokemon Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I stopped playing a little over 10 years ago. But there weren't that many Pokemon I didn't recognize in this. I think it was mostly older Pokemon.
Yeah, I've been a hardcore Pokemon fan ever since I literally played Pokemon Blue at recess when I was 8. So,
yeah, it was the same thing with me, but with Pokemon Fire Red.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first Pokemon game, and my last was... Well, technically, my last was Pokemon Blue, because I managed to pick up Pokemon Blue for the original Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that for a month or so.
Yeah, there's a wide variety of Pokemon. It's not all Gen 1. From what I remember, I think I saw mostly Gen 1, which is red and blue, and Gen 5, which is black and white. The only Gen 3 Pokemon I remember seeing was Ludicolo.
Yeah. And Ludicolo was in the bar?
Yep.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's sort of important, but, like, not really. He's just there for, like, a gag.
I was going to say...
apparently he's really important in the game.
Oh, yeah, I know
game.
nothing about the Detective Pikachu game. I'm completely...
So from someone who's claimed he's a hardcore Pokemon fan, I mean a hardcore mainline Pokemon fan, I have not played Detective Pikachu. I have not played the Mystery Dungeon games. I have not played the Pokemon Ranger games. I've barely played Pokemon Coliseum. But I just want to say that.
the Ludicolo.
Yep.
I get that right, Ludicolo.
Yep.
Okay. I know very little about Pokemon. I apologize. His scene in the bar was one of the funniest comedy edits I think in the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a scene where, and it's all due to Ryan Reynolds' good comic timing. There's just a scene where he says something to the Ludicolo and the camera pans over and the Ludicolo just screams at him. And it's just, I don't know. That really made me laugh. That really got me.
So, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I want to bring up the fact that Ryan Reynolds essentially didn't get a script. He got an outline. Mm-hmm. He was allowed to basically just riff. So
I can totally see that because he's just doing his thing in this movie, and that's the best thing about it.
The only issue I have with that, I mean, it's not even really an issue because Ryan Reynolds is just the best. But is that his moments and lines don't fit with anything else in the movie.
No, not at all. I want to say he gets away with so much as far as like adult comedy goes because he has some very, very adult jokes, and that surprised me, and I was appreciative of that because, you know, as an adult going to see a kid's movie, I love it when they throw little things for the older people in the audience. But it was he felt like Deadpool. It was like a PG Deadpool, essentially. And I'm not complaining. I thought it was great, but it was not fitting. Right. I agree.
I am curious because, okay, so major spoiler, end of movie. If you want to see this without having the ending ruined, well, one, you're probably going to figure out the ending ahead of time, but two...
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're about to say, and it is the first thing that I guessed.
Right.
And I was correct.
But two, stop listening now. Definitely go see it. I think you'll have a fun time.
Yeah.
Okay, so, it turns out Detective Pikachu was actually Tim's father, the main character's father, because his father had gone missing after an accident. And so the accident happened, the car flips, his father was legitimately going to die. And then you two showed up, and Pikachu pled his case, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess you like this human, I'll save this human. But you need to sacrifice your memory. And so we put the father into Pikachu to keep his mind alive, and at the end of the movie, they're separated again. So Ryan Reynolds is a human, and Pikachu is just a regular Pikachu that Tim can no longer talk to. So my question is that there is already a sequel to this movie greenlit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if they're going to find some contrived way to get Ryan Reynolds back into Pikachu's body.
No, Tim goes in the body for the sequel.
Huh.
It's the reverse. Ryan Reynolds has to talk to his son in Pikachu's body.
That would be cool. What if they take turns?
Yeah.
You've just got a communal Pikachu.
That Pikachu's going to feel really violated.
Yeah.
I as soon as the kid's dad supposedly died and the Pikachu showed up and the kid could talk to him, I was like, the Pikachu's going to be his dad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it more. I thought Tim is black, but he has a lighter complexion. And I thought Ryan Reynolds is white, and we've seen that his mom is black.
Right.
That's his dad.
And the fact that every time they show the car accident scene, because you see it a couple of times,
you never see
what his dad looks like.
That's the other thing. I had the guess that Pikachu's his dad, like, immediately in the first scene with him. I thought, I bet Pikachu's his dad, but then when they never show his dad's face, then it was cemented in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that's okay. Just because I liked seeing live action Ryan Reynolds in the end. That was kind of fun.
It was. I liked seeing Ryan Reynolds depressingly sing the Pokemon theme song while wobbling down a train track.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was hilarious. There are a few references to, like, Gen 1 anime movies and stuff. Like, legitimately, the first shot is Mewtwo in a capsule, and it looks just like the first shot of Pokemon, the first movie.
Yeah, I did notice that, and I did appreciate that.
But from what I picked up on, the references aren't very, like, deep. You know?
No. And one thing I want to say, there's a lot of surface level stuff, but there's also just generally not as many references as you'd expect there to be.
Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say, I think the most like the deepest thing I noticed was that somebody was using a Pokedex as a cell phone.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, there was just someone in the crowd that was using it was a Pokedex or a Pokegear, one of them. It was being used as a cell phone, which I thought was kind of cool. But
that is cool.
Other than that, it's just like he has a poster on his wall for the Sinnoh League, or like they
mention Kanto at some point.
Yep. That's probably the biggest connection. The Mewtwo in the movie is the Mewtwo from Pokemon the first movie, or at least the Mewtwo from the first game, because he escaped from Kanto 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They try to trick you into thinking that this is a Mewtwo that was just created in the lab, especially since the vials that are creating the gas that make all the Pokemon go mad have an R on them that look like Team Rocket's R.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case. This is the Mewtwo from Kanto.
So what I want to say about this movie and its lack of pervasive, obvious fan service. Initially, I was disappointed that Jesse and James didn't show up. I was disappointed that a lot Giovanni didn't show up. I was disappointed that a lot of real Pokemon mainstay characters didn't have cameos. But the more I thought about it, it would have been obnoxious if this movie was just reference after reference after reference.
Yeah.
And I kind of appreciate that they kind of tried to do something somewhat original.
Right. I didn't want Jesse and James, but I did at least want a proper Team Rocket appearance.
Right. I was expecting one, and I was kind of surprised there wasn't one.
But, there is another movie coming out, so maybe they'll get more in depth into the mythos of the Pokemon world at large. Maybe we'll see more battles. Maybe he'll go somewhere other than Rhyme City. Who knows?
Yeah, sure.
I want to see him, I don't know, figuring out the mystery of Lavender Tower, Pokemon Tower.
That would make a great movie on its own, just set in Lavender Town, like a semi-horror movie.
Yeah.
But not like the New Mutants kind of horror movie, but like a Scooby-Doo-esque kind of horror movie, like old school spooky.
You mean not in the New Mutants kind of horror movie way, as in this movie is actually going to be released eventually?
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw you were going there. New Mutants coming 2025.
2034.
2034.
2055.
Geez, I looked back on one of my old podcasts recently. It was from a year and a half ago, and me and Josh, and one of our segues was, let's talk about this New Mutants movie. And I was like, If only we knew that movie's not happening.
Nope. I feel so bad for Maisie Williams. She keeps complaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway from this movie is not necessarily the movie itself, but it's what it represents. I feel like this just proves that Pokemon can work in live action, can work with an American writer, an American director, an American producer, can work on the big screen as a proper movie in a non-animated form, and that it's got franchise potential. You don't always have to do Detective Pikachu specifically.
Yeah, I would like to see this be just a proof of concept for better movies in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think as a proof of concept, it's an absolute win. Because, like I said, this movie's main purpose was just to create a live action, cool and interesting Pokemon world. And it absolutely worked. Mm-hmm. And I would totally be interested in seeing what else they can do with Pokemon.
Right, me too. As weird as it sounds, the only thing I wouldn't want is a traditional Ash's Journey Pokemon movie. I don't want to follow a trainer going gym to gym just because that's been done before. I want to see what else is going on in the Pokemon world. Maybe even focus on a gym leader specifically and what they're doing. Or focus on the police trying to take down an evil organization like Team Plasma or Team Rocket. Or
focus on the leader of the Elite Four.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the like top level person you play against other than your rival, the champion?
Yeah.
Focus on him.
Yeah,
be like a Rocky in the Pokemon universe.
That would be cool if instead of focusing on somebody doing their journey, you're just focusing on somebody who's convinced they're going to be the champion. Maybe they already have all 8 badges and they're just training to take on the Elite Four.
Yeah, sure.
That would be cool.
Like an inspirational sports movie that ends with them getting beaten by a newcomer. Like, what was it, Rocky 2?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I don't know.
That would be
just cool. Throwing out ideas. Although, of course, I would of course like them to do an idea that's not just blatantly ripping off another movie. Because, like I said, the only thing I can picture in my head was Tim Burton's Batman movie for the last 30 minutes of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, honestly, even though it was kind of a blatant ripoff, I kind of liked it because nobody's ripping off Tim Burton's Batman in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost refreshing.
We needed more Prince music and gallery destruction.
Yeah.
Hey, we did have a female reporter sidekick, though. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Sidekick and love interest. So maybe this did legitimately rip off Batman. There just weren't any Zubat or Noibat.
A love
or
interest.
Woobat. There's a lot of bats in the Pokemon universe.
It's a love interest that's actually completely not present for the finale of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened to her? She got turned into a Psyduck. What if she never got out of the Psyduck? That's what the sequel is. They have to find the Psyduck and save her.
What if she never got out of the Psyduck, but he starts falling in love with her inside the Psyduck?
Oh, that's a whole different kind of movie.
One that kids shouldn't see.
No. Well, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, me either, except that I love this world and the fact that Pokemon are just hanging out everywhere and just doing odd jobs, and I just love the idea of this movie. And I think that you guys should see it to prove to them that you want to get more, but better.
Yeah. I guess as an outro, we could give a quick discussion on Sonic because that's the next movie we're going to be doing this for.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to have nearly as good a time with Sonic as I did with Detective Pikachu. I think it looks atrocious.
Yeah, Sonic looks like a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
In the trailer, I legitimately laughed at the last joke, but mostly because... I mean, I don't know if it's because I thought it was funny or just because I thought it was so out of place.
Like, yeah, just a good old pedophile kidnapping joke.
Yeah, in
your Sonic movie. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I thought it was funny because you don't expect them to go there, but I mean, it's probably going to be dumb in the context of the movie.
Right.
Because they do this thing that every incompetent comedy writer does. They have a funny joke and then they carry it too far. And the trailer, the joke hits and it's actually fairly funny. And then Sonic says, like, it smells bad in here or something. And it's just like this horrible dismount.
I am legitimately excited to see Jim Carrey. I have not seen like 90s Jim Carrey in such a long time.
He doesn't seem very funny in the trailer, but it is Jim Carrey, so it's going to be kind of neat to see him back.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was pretty funny in the trailer, but then again, I love Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, so...
Right. My issue is I've never been a big Jim Carrey fan. I've never... Him and Adam Sandler, I've never... I was just talking about how everybody says Billy Madison is like the good Adam Sandler movie, and I just hated it when I saw it.
I usually hear that Happy Gilmore is the good Adam Sandler movie.
That too. Same goes for that. I've seen both of them, and I didn't like either of them. But that's just me. It's just I was just born in the wrong era to just can really connect with that kind of humor, I think.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s. I have a soft spot for those. And you know, he's from my hometown, fun fact. So I'm kind of obligated to like those movies, I think.
Yeah.
But not Grown-Ups. I don't have to like Grown-Ups.
Oh yeah. I did see Grown-Ups when it came out. I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
I would like to do this again for some form of media before Sonic comes out.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of fun.
We'll have to find something. Maybe we could... I don't know. Maybe we could watch the Castlevania show or something. I haven't finished the second season.
Yeah, sure. I haven't even started the second season. So I finished the first season. Yeah, sure. That'd be fun.
Or we can
find
watch
some really obscure Nintendo Sega crossover media out there. I don't know.
We could watch Sonic Boom. Or Captain N. Or... No. I don't know.
Yeah. I would love to do a whole podcast on Sonic Underground. I forgot how much I like that show.
I hadn't even really heard of it until you did your video on it, so I'd be all
good.
For that.
It's a classic. It's the best Sonic series, and by the best, I mean, I don't even know. Well, I mean, you saw it. You saw the video. It's extremely heavy metal inspired, and it's great.
Yeah. We could do a full podcast series on just talking about every episode of Sonic Underground. But you'd owe me a Nintendo equivalent.
What's the Nintendo equivalent to Sonic Underground? Probably the Super Mario Brothers show, the live action one, or whatever it was called.
Super Mario Brothers Super Show. That one?
Yeah. Like, what's Nintendo's black sheep property? The one that nobody's heard of and is really weird.
Well, I can't say nobody's heard of it because it's been memed to hell recently, but there's the Donkey Kong Country show.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I bet that is their Sonic Boom, from what I've seen of it. I mean, Sonic Boom is oddly not bad, but so it's not exactly comparable, but yeah.
It's not Nintendo, but there's also a Mega Man series that I don't see anybody talk about.
Oh, there's several. I loved what was it called? Battle Network growing up.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was an anime until really, really recently, like half a year ago. I thought it was just a single game. Turns out there's a whole series of them. But I thought it was just anime. A single game that I liked playing when I was 12.
Yeah, the anime is really, really good. At least it was when I was a kid. It probably doesn't hold up. Because I would watch that. That came on after Sonic X, so I'd watch it on Saturday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Yeah. Anywho.
This has been fun.
This has been a lot of fun, actually. Let's do it again.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to get this edited and get it up soon.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So
and subscribe to this channel if you want to see each of us do. Yeah, we don't. This is our first thing we've done together, I think.
And this is the first thing we've done that hasn't been specifically related to the journeys that we're doing.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about branching out in a couple of different directions, so I don't know how you guys would feel about that, but I hope you appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I'll see you guys around.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. Bye.